5:30 a.m. and this is quite a momentous occasion because this is our last long run before the New York Marathon. We have 3 weeks to go and we're in Chiang Mai, so we thought it would be nice to take you with us on a... Sorry. So this is really just more like a come along on a run with us while we probably get lost, but also tell you about what's been happening the last 5 weeks training for New York, everything we've been through. Quite exciting.
Yeah, excited to be here.
At this point, tired to be here. So we're just at the very start of our 35-kilometre long run. For you that work in miles, you figure it out, I don't really know what it is, over 20 something, but I'm not sure. And to say it's been somewhat of an epic journey to get here would be somewhat of an understatement, I think. Whew. So we've got to take you back to just where we left you last time to tell you what we did since then.
So we left you at the end of our last base block where we'd been running 4 times a week and hitting distances of around 60 to 65 kilometres a week. Our long runs were 30 kilometres and we had that secret marathon firmly in our sights. We took an easier week before the marathon, ran the marathon, 3:35, so Mary qualified for Boston, and then we recovered for a week before this build block. And the aims for this block were simple. They were to increase the mileage more, increase the number of days running and the number of runs over those days, and finally we wanted to be more purposeful and run more marathon paced segments in the long runs. So did we achieve all that?
That's what we don't get in Bangkok. Look at that. Luckily we're not going up there. We're actually running to a reservoir which is about 10 kilometres from the hotel we're staying at. And if you're wondering where we've been or what we've been up to with our training with New York, obviously, first of all, it's on Strava. But second of all, I'll give you a rundown. After we did those blocks of around mid-60s to, I think we peaked at 70 kilometres, you may remember we did a secret marathon and qualified for Boston, or Mary qualified. Whoa, look at this. That's quite the location for a long run, right? Look at all these huts along the river and the mountains in the background. Man, we're really lucky to be living here in this country, right behind you, Mary. So as you would expect, the week before the marathon, we kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. I don't think we did much in the way of distance. And the week after, we gave ourselves a little rest period before we delved into this training block, which we're in now, in fact, which we're finishing like today, right now, in the middle of the last race, in the middle of the last run before the taper. So with all the marathon kerfuffle, like the down week before and the kind of rest week after, that took us to 6 weeks out from New York Marathon. So we're going to tell you now what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks. And how many kilometres have we covered in 21 days? Most we've ever done. What was it?
250.
250 kilometres in the last 21 days. By far our biggest block ever.
Well, that's where we will be
once we finish this run. Yeah, we're at, what are we, 21 kilometres in here. Let's get home. Let's get to breakfast. So first of all, our weekly structure, the way that we fit all our runs in now is we always have a rest day Monday because the long run is a Sunday. Then we train Tuesday, generally on the track, Wednesday, Thursday, day off Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday long run. So 5 runs a week. We try and split the mileage quite nicely and evenly over the 4 runs. The first week, the long run was actually part of our KMK race. So we did a 25-kilometre race, 2-kilometre warm-up, 2-kilometre cool down. So the Tuesday track session always consists of an Elliot Kipchoge style session, ones that we know he does. And the first one was we did 15 kilometres worth on the track, but we did 10 sets of 1,200 metres at around our marathon pace, just getting slightly faster as the session progressed, but only by a few seconds. And that gave us 15 kilometres for the day. So that was the first week in the bag of 80k, and that's one of the highest mileage weeks or kilometerage weeks that I've ever done and Mary's ever done. But we were really determined to make it consistent rather than just one and then our legs not be able to do it the next week. So we just stuck with that same structure. That next Tuesday was all about Track Tuesday, and I moved on to kilometre repeats. I think Mary did too. And actually, I don't know what you think, Mary, but the second 80 kilometre week, probably our proudest week, because until Thursday or Friday our legs were shot to bits from the race.
Yeah, we were really struggling. I was struggling walking stairs, so running was a challenge. We had to move things around a bit, but we made it happen.
Yeah, we split runs up so there wasn't too much pressure on our legs. We'd do a morning run and an evening run. We still did the kilometre repeats. We still managed to get to the weekend in reasonable nick. Saturday we did a 12k, and then Sunday was 32 kilometres at good old faithful Thammasat University. So our brains are battered. We didn't do kilometre repeats on Tuesday. Mary just reminds me our legs were too shredded, but we did the equivalent distance, and that's what counted.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
It's breakfast time, so we just thought we'd explain the last week while we're sitting at breakfast, but I've got to be a bit quiet because there's lots of people around and I'm waiting for my pancakes. Breakfast done, and on the subject of the week, actually, it was kind of, it felt alright. It was a reasonably easy one. What we did to make it manageable was we split the runs on Tuesday and on Thursday. So we got up, we did 5 or 6 kilometres. I think Mary even did 7 on the Tuesday morning. And then that meant we needed to do 10 to 12 on the track on a Tuesday afternoon. And we did the same on a Thursday. So we split it up because my mum and my stepdad arrived on Thursday. Tuesday 12k after work, so we didn't split that one, but what that left us with was this 35k long run that we've just done, and then we basically had to get 10 kilometers ticked off on the Saturday. So our aim was always on that last week 90 kilometers, and the 2 weeks previously of 80 and 80, if you add the block together, that is by far the biggest block we've ever done. So I guess you're wondering, how did we build up to the 80, 80, 90 or the 250 kilometers in that 3-week period? And the answer is boring, but it was basically learning about ourselves over the years and consistency over time. When we trained for Bangkok Marathon, our biggest training block was maybe, I think it was a 70 kilometer week and then an 80 and an 80. And again, that served us very well, but we felt like we could build on it. We felt like our experience and the volume of training we've been doing over the last year, we could add an extra day in, so suddenly we're training 5 days a week, 7 runs a week by splitting the Tuesday and Thursday run. And it was just a slow gradual build towards New York. We made sure we looked after ourselves, of course. As you see, we talk about it all the time. We had massages, leg compressors, foam rolling, stretching, dry needling, the works. We're taking this seriously. And it culminated with the 35 kilometers you've just seen me do. And I guess now it's just 3 weeks of winding down. The priority now is get ourselves to the start line. No other thing. The training is pretty much done. We're tapering down, but we'll do another video about how we're tapering, but we're tapering down. We have less than 3 weeks until New York. So the aim is to stand on the start line feeling good. And hopefully this video has in some way helped you or allayed some fears if you're training for the same thing. Give us a shout if you're going to be at New York. We'd love to meet up with people after the race. We're flying in on Saturday, kind of midday-ish, so we're not going to be around for very long, but hopefully we'll see some of you there. Loads of content around the actual race as well. We're just, at this point, super excited. And if you like the video, how about watching this video, which was when Mary ran a secret marathon so she could try and qualify for Boston. I won't tell you if she did or not. You probably know if you follow the channel already. And I'll see you on Sunday.